Executive Committee member in charge of agriculture, irrigation, livestock, fisheries, and cooperative development. I'm appreciating so much the comments that have come through for agriculture that shows the interest that the county has in this. Right from the question on what do we mean by value chain development. There was a question on how do we feed the techno city. There was a question on whether we are going to find any produce to aggregate. There are questions on farm inputs and how we make this available, and the climate smart agriculture that we need to embrace. When I got to the county, I looked at the vision of the department, and the vision read, we are going to produce for home consumption and surplus for sale. And I looked at it and I said, with this, there is no intent to increase our production. No wonder we are a county that is 57% of our households are food insecure. And so when I looked at what was the farming practice, we are engaged in so many value chains. You find there's a farm, it's 2 acres, we have maize there, we have beans, we have poultry, we have goats, we have a cow. And at the end of the day, there is none of these investments is able to give return on the investment. And so from that, then we came up with an approach, and we came up with a big vision as a department. And we said, we are going to produce to feed the world. Because if we are going to produce to feed the world, then we will not lack for ourselves. And therefore, then we have to tweak how we are going to engage in this production. And that's how we came up with the value chain approach to agricultural production. There's so much that we can grow, but we want to be known as a county for certain value chains. We can't be known for everything. And so we selected now value chains that we felt will contribute now to the food security, food and nutrition security. That's where you saw the pulses there. And we also picked on value chains that will now contribute to economic growth. Agriculture still leads when it comes to matters contribution to economic growth. And so we picked on these value chains that we felt had that kind of a strength. When we were doing public participation, part of what we asked the wards was to give us their priority value chains that need to be developed in agriculture. Because we knew that, yes, we could advise technically, but then now, unless the farmers own this, because I will not be the one farming, it has to be a farmer to make a decision to farm. And therefore, then we asked them to give us their priority value chains. And we already have this information with us. And for every ward, we are going to pick the top 2 value chains that they picked. And then we work with them to develop these value chains to commercialization. When it comes, for example, like bamboo, the green grams, already we are a county that leads. Makueni County, Kitui, Tarakaniti, those are the counties that lead in green grams production. But we have always relied on seeds from elsewhere. And a lot of times we don't have enough seeds. We require about 300 metric tons of seed every season. I mean, it's 900, but we only get 300, so we suffer a deficit. And we find ourselves, instead of planting seeds, we plant food. And so now part of what we have engaged in is, now that we are the producers of green grams, we can also be the producers of seeds. And therefore we are working with the farmers to be seed producers for our green grams. And also working out what is the minimum that you can engage in when it comes to green grams, so that then you are producing viably and economically. And we'll be looking at about 5 acres. We are going to push farmers to increase the scale, because money in agriculture is in the scale. So we look at that, and therefore, as we work on that, we are also working big time on marketing. We have had an MOU with NCPB. We thanks to the governor and the discussions that we pursued. And therefore now, the green grams that we produce, we had markets with NCBB to offtake our green grams. At 100 shillings, at 110, this depending on the variety from the low that we were selling before. And we have pushed further, thanks again to the governor. We have now had discussions with the national government so that then they can be able to offtake our green grams. That which needs to be taken to the defense forces, that needs to go to the prisons, and therefore then now, other than the produce we are taking to SBB, now we are going to set up aggregation centers close to the farmers. And therefore our business is now, as farmers, matters green grams to produce, and now government will offtake at 90 shillings minimum. So there's already market for green grams. I will also be in discussions with Waziri Health, because we have our hospitals that now also consume green grams. We have a polishing facility in Makueni, and I can confirm that the polishing facility is doing to international standards. And therefore then we will be able to polish that and sell ready for consumption, as well as investing in now a retail for that. These facilities that are now for value addition, we will work with private partners so that then we are able to have our PPPs to enhance how quick we are able to do some of the things that we need to do efficiently. Mango is a lead value chain for Kenya. We used to be the lead exporter. Mango was leading in terms of fruits in this country until when we locked ourselves out of the international market because of the fruit fly. And from the work that we have done to contain fruit fly, now we have access to the export market. And therefore, part of what we are going to do, big time matters, Mango, is now to set up what we call the low pest zones. We will be working with farmers to create low pest zones so that then our mangoes have a ready export market. And it is from that awareness and that strategy that we will now be having the Mango Conference coming up in May. So we will have the National Mango Conference. Makueni leads in Kenya when it comes to mango production. And it is for that reason that we'll be hosting the Mango Conference. And the message will be Kenya is now ready to export mango. And therefore we'll be working to see how that matters processing. I know time is not on our side. It's an area we are working on. Thank you so very much. Looking forward to the continued support, continued collaboration. Thank you so much.